Human animal penis.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Human animal hybrids.
Trigger warning, animal penis. Trigger warning.
What's the word when people actually have sex with?
Bestiality.
That's it, bestiality.
Do you know how because I've started watching that paedophile hunter guy again.
Carson Crest, no.
No, he's from
Presley.
Queer Eye.
Yeah.
What's his name? You know that program where they used to like get a really
To Catch a
bad actor to be
Predator.
like, hi, I'm 15.
Oh.
And be some like 20-year-old
Yeah.
woman. To Catch a Predator, that's it.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Chris Hansen.
Chris Hansen. And I watched this morning, this guy was like into kids and bestiality.
That's not what's happening today.
Well, we'll see.
Hi everyone, welcome back. It's been 6 months since I started my monster romance journey. And you have actually seen in quite a lot of my videos when I've done like my reading wrap-ups for the month that I have been reading some of these interspersed with some other bits and bobs. So we've got everything from like demons. Would you class a demon as a monster?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
We've got demons, we've got more demons, we've got a minotaur, aliens, we've got a mermaid, a merman, but I know you don't like mermen, do you?
I just don't like sea stuff. I find it boring.
Okay.
Not into mermen the way you are.
They're just really nice lads.
Okay.
I have questions about how that would work, but we'll get to it, I'm sure.
I have special guests with me. I'm so sorry. I literally forgot to say.
I'm James Welsh.
And I'm Robert Welsh.
And we're on Ashton's channel.
For anyone who doesn't know, because I actually don't really talk about like much about my own life sometimes. I'm always like, oh, Robert did this and James did that, and I realize that some of my subscribers don't
I
actually
can actually know, yeah.
Robert and James are my best friends of like what?
Oh my god.
Oh.
Since
we
20
were
years.
little gals.
Since we were very little.
Yeah, I want to say like 20.
I want to say like 20 years. They took me when I got bullied, so
We're really good people.
they're really nice people. And now we worked together over the years, and now we work together. I actually work. My full-time job is working on their channel. This is my hobby. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. Really.
Yeah, she
That
loves.
That sums it up.
She's always loved books. So I love reading.
I've always
Yeah.
loved books. I was thinking the other day. Do you remember? It was not really a monster romance book, but I guess like as in like fantasy mixed with a little bit of spice. But do you remember that book about the fairy fingering herself?
She
in
took the longest
woods?
finger
She
of
took
them
her
all.
middle finger, the
Longest
longest
finger.
finger.
The longest
Yeah,
finger.
I always
Oh.
remember. I don't even know what that was from.
I have it still.
You
do?
It's called Once. It was by James Herbert. Okay, so we're gonna rate these 1 to 5. I'm gonna tell you guys both about the book. We can move the rating, and then we'll do like a 1 to 5. 1 being the best one.
Okay, what are we rating them on? Like
Concept?
Like the concept,
Yeah, like with
the
everything.
story.
Like, what do you
Okay.
think that if people were gonna read monster romances from
Okay.
this 5,
Okay, which one?
And especially as
order?
somebody who hasn't really read them, what I would be interested in.
Yeah?
I did have that experience. Are we going to talk about that one?
yes, Morning Glory
Okay,
Milk.
okay,
and
we'll
Farm
get
is
to it then, because
here.
I'll tell you
Is
my
it there?
It's here, Morning Glory Milk
Oh
and
my
Farm.
god. Okay.
Robert's fave. No, you didn't like it. No.
Oh, I was outraged.
You
We'll get
were-
on to it. Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about Opal Rain's A Soul to Keep. I'll pass it around so you can all see.
Okay. Are there pictures inside? Or
No, there isn't. But I've got some on my phone that I was going to send to you. So I guess you get the gist kind of here.
front says a lot. Kesha being strangled by a
Kesha
demon.
Okay, so he's a monster and she's his offering. Rhea, a human woman, is gifted to a reclusive demon lord and Duskwalker, Orpheus. This guy.
Okay.
In exchange for his powers to keep her village safe from other lesser demons. So he's quite powerful. It's like an exchange.
And she's in exchange from the village, or she's
Yes.
put herself up for
No,
Okay.
some people do because some people have
Okay.
got a bit of a kink and like want to
Right.
see what it's all about.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to go. But the people in her village don't like her, so they've sent her. So she's taken back to the Vale, which is where Orpheus lives. So it's in the same world, but it's like I guess like an underground, like magical place in the middle of the woods. So he'll take her there, but it's surrounded by other lesser demons. So she will be in amongst them all, basically.
It's kind of scary.
I know. And it's here that she lives with him, and she becomes like his bride, but she does plot to run away.
So it's Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
it?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that. Obviously, it's not easy when you're surrounded by other demons because they can smell her. So he has
Yeah.
to bathe her and put like a special concoction that he's come up with so that so she can hide. So she can
Okay.
be out in the garden and they won't like come from miles because they can smell her.
Okay.
So he takes good
So
care
she
of
has
her.
freedom.
So
Some freedom.
Okay.
So when they're offered, are they offered up as a bride, or they're offered up?
Yeah.
So and their thing is to do. They can do whatever they want. This person, have him as a slave, have him as a bride.
But they
and
don't know what he does
He chooses
with
to
them.
be like nice and give her baths and stuff.
Yes.
Okay, well that's cute.
Is
Yeah.
that norm? Is that standard behavior for his breed, or do people mainly get offered up and then they get like killed? And
No one really knows because no
No.
one's come back, or
Okay.
like so it's been over
Yeah.
centuries that he's
Yeah.
been having like offerings.
So there's not like they're not like the
No one
wives
knows.
and girlfriends where there's like a group of them. They're like, oh, how?
Yeah, it's
What's
like
his name
Mormons,
is?
and then was
Morpheus.
it?
What's his name?
Orpheus.
Orpheus.
Morpheus.
Orpheus.
Orpheus. Yeah. As you read on, there are other ones like him that aren't as progressive in terms of becoming a human. So he's very like switched on to human needs. He would want to consume a human. He would want to eat them, but he doesn't want to. But the more, because over the years, because he's eaten so many humans over the years, he's become more human. So he's so
It's like
it's,
absorbed
Yeah.
their being
Yeah.
almost.
but it's what like he eats. He does eat other stuff too, but it's so he eats humans, but he doesn't want to eat them. But then sometimes it
Kinda has
overcomes
to.
him, and he does. Yeah.
Okay.
And where does he get these humans? He just goes out and gets one.
Yeah, they'll
anywhere.
hunt like that because there's demon hunters. So then they'll like attack the demon hunters will attack the demons, but then to
They'll-
save themselves, he'll eat
This
them.
doesn't sound like a fair deal if humans are going to get eaten anyway.
I know it doesn't, does it?
Yeah.
It
Like,
kind
it's
of-
like,
it
so
kind
who
of-
are you saving?
I
By
know.
offering yourself up?
Yeah, they
So-
should have him eating souls.
Yeah.
Instead
What?
of a
So
human,
he
you know
wants
what I
her
mean?
soul.
Oh, and
Oh,
okay,
So he
that's
wants her
fine.
soul so that they can be, because if he has her soul, it means that she'll be protected forever and he won't have to like bathe her.
Does that mean she still physically lives in this realm?
He has to physically say, you can have my, like, give up her
Okay,
soul.
okay.
He can't take it without her offering it.
Okay.
Are all his friends like, you need to stick to the rules
Remember
of being
who you
skull-faced
are.
monsters.
You're a skull-faced
Remember who you
monster.
are.
The lesser demons know that he brings back other, like a human sacrifice.
And they're like, you're a purse.
they want to eat them all the time. So he's made like a cute little wooden cabin in the woods that they live in. Previous sacrifices have made like a little garden of like homegrown vegetables. There's extra
Cute.
like linens from like old bridal things that are there.
That's kind of cutesy.
Yeah, and like these makes like little trinkets.
Yeah.
Cottage core.
Yeah, with a
twist.
with a like, oh,
Yeah.
what's it called? Dangerous.
A dangerous element,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But he just wants to find someone to love him forever.
Okay.
But I guess it's hard when they've been given over as a sacrifice and he looks the way he does too.
Yeah.
Could she live forever if he takes her soul?
Yeah.
So she can live for as long as he lives.
Yeah.
So like
There's a
Beauty and
happy
the
ending.
Beast, does she like come round?
Come
a little
around,
bit?
yeah.
There's
I
a
mean,
little bit of
There's a little candle
I guess-
that's like you must marry
You need
him.
to. No, that's not French.
That's
That's
not-
you need to fall in love.
No, she does come around. There's a happy ending without giving it away, but I guess it wouldn't be a monster romance if it didn't have a
It
happy
didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Is there any Rogering?
There is some rogering. This happens to them quite often, but they can smell arousal. So when he was like bathing her, for example, he doesn't realize that it's a because he's like still very kind of a bit naive. So like
Yeah,
he'll be
okay.
like, he's just cleaning her,
Just cleaning his.
but his hand might brush over her nipple,
And she's
Right.
like,
and she's like, "Oh, that was nice."
She's like,
Zing.
Edward. Has he got anything underneath this skull, or that skull is his head?
That skull is his head.
He'd stink, wouldn't he?
He would smell like.
So this is the other
absolute
thing.
shit.
No, he's got a really
No?
nice scent. And actually, I wrote
Really?
this down.
Of what?
Hang on. Okay, so his smell is earthy, smoky, and spicy with hints of cedarwood, leather, and something ancient and wild.
That's the perfect
That
fragrance.
sounds really nice, right? Yeah.
That sounds like
Even his breath, like, doesn't smell.
Like meaty.
Doesn't smell meaty. Yeah. So he like wears like a when he comes to get her, he's almost like wearing a bit of like a shirt, a black shirt, and black like pants. Yeah.
Like he dressed
Is
up
this
a little
fan
bit.
art? All they do is just give them a six-pack and put an animal head on it.
Yeah, they do.
So what? He looks a bit different and wants to eat you.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, it's a person.
Eat you in what
you
way?
have a nice house. Yeah, in what way? You have a nice stable house.
You can live forever.
live forever.
Okay, where would you place it off with that?
I actually like the premise of that.
I
book.
do
I actually
too.
think it sounds really good. I like that, like, they're together, but they initially, she maybe doesn't want to be there. Maybe she hates him a little bit. It's very, there's something sweet and almost fine. I'm going to say 7.
Okay, it's 1 to 5.
2. 2.
2.
I'm
We'll
gonna
put it
say
at
2 as well.
Mm.
I think that sounds cute.
I'm just taking it off for 1 point, maybe because
There might be something better.
there might be something better, and I'm not like, well, I'm not into demon dick. But I
Not
think-
yet, you're
No.
not.
You wait till we finish this
Exactly.
list.
Can we just talk about the aesthetics
Ooh,
of this book?
very nice.
I love how each chapter has a
Spooky wood.
spooky wood page. That at the beginning of each, that's really nice. And as
Yeah.
somebody with dyslexia, I still can't read it.
Okay, so this is my most recent one, and it is called Ice Planet Barbarians. Abducted by aliens and rescued by blue-horned, sexy cavemen, basically.
Okay.
So a group of human women crash land on a frozen alien planet, and survival becomes number one priority.
Katy Perry, Oprah's friend.
Then we find a tall, blue, very enthusiastic alien with a tail, and he shows up. Steamy, sweet, and surprisingly very wholesome book, I would say. So there's language barriers with these two.
I like that.
There's a mating bond, and there's also a thing called a kui. That's how I pronounced it when I read it. It's a kui, and it makes things very complicated. So basically, your kui is inside you, and when you find someone that you really like, it kind of resonates and like vibrates. It's your mating bond almost, but like only sometimes it can be one-sided.
Feels very Avatar fanfic.
Avatar is, I think, you know what? I feel like a lot of these books start off as fan fiction. That's very Avatar. You know when they stick their tails together and those gross things
And they're
come
like,
out?
I see you, Jack Sully.
Yeah, Sivaka!
Yeah. People have said it's very Avatar.
Yeah, I like that so far. I think it's a good idea.
Well, you know how I mentioned I don't like sea? I also don't like space.
How can you not like space?
When I listen to like horror stories,
But we're
the
in
moment it's set in
space.
space.
Yeah.
But we're not though, are we? We're like on the ground. I don't like science
You
fiction.
don't like the science fiction
I think that's what
side,
it
but I
is.
feel like this is more. I feel like it was science fiction. Is that gritty, dirty science fiction?
Yeah.
Alien 2,
Alien
Alien 2,
Alien the Request.
AVPR.
Alien versus Predator. And then there's like
Alien 3D.
science fiction that's more like Alien. You know what I mean? It's not like Alien. Yeah.
Like funny
Gentleman
alien.
Bronco.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like this is like an in-between where, I mean, from the front cover, it doesn't look very dark and gritty.
No, it doesn't. I would say this is a bit more like cutesy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I also like less than space and the sea?
Yeah.
Is cold areas of ice.
Yeah.
His hates
I think it's some of my least favorite things all smushed together.
Okay.
But please.
No, I
Okay.
can see what you mean. I don't like areas too.
Yeah.
There's a group of human women, but in this book, because there are others, we follow Georgie and Vector. So Vector's the barbarian,
alien,
and then Georgie is the human. She volunteers to kind of go out and like find help, and that's when she runs into Vector. So there are 27 books in the series.
Jesus Christ.
I know. I don't think I won't get through them all, and I'll tell you for why. There's babies as we go on.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, they have children.
They have children.
Oh, I mean, I don't want to know about that in any
Yeah.
aspect of life.
No.
Yeah, I know. And my audience know that I don't like the whole baby thing. There's a group of other barbarians. So, like, as they all start meeting, there'll be more kind of couples.
Okay.
I'm on the second book right now, so it follows another two of them.
Okay.
And is it the same kind of like? Because how different can that story
Yeah,
be, other than just a
right.
different? Is it all the same alien that, like, not the same guy, but is it the same
Breed.
species?
Yeah, it's the same
Okay.
species. But so in the one I'm reading right now, he's a virgin. Because
alien?
he's never found someone.
His things never vibrated.
His things never vibrated.
Yeah.
In the book, is it like he felt a strange queer tingle?
He ain't never felt nothing like that before.
Martha.
That's exactly how it is. That's exactly it. The first one, I won't touch too much on the second one, but the first one is obviously they've crash landed, so we get to see them in the hold. Horrible things happen to them in the hold with the little green men. When they crash land, there are new animals and creatures that she runs into that are like kind of a bit life-threatening. He can smell her arousal, and actually he wakes her up by going down on her one day, one morning. So there's a little bit of unconsented,
Yeah.
non-consent. Maybe it's,
Yeah.
what's that thing called? Is it CN? No, consent, non-consent? Like you
What's
consent, but you want to act like you're not
haven't
consenting.
said. Right,
Okay. Yeah.
CNC, consent.
This isn't my world, Ashton.
No, I know. No.
It's so strange, isn't it? Because I feel like this can bring up so many moral dilemmas, but it's aliens. Like they're not real.
I
Like, do you know what I
know.
mean? Like
That's
it's
the
like
thing.
it's not. But I guess
Yeah,
it reflects.
it's a
It's
fantasy
inspired
for
by
some
things that happen in the
people.
real
Yeah.
world.
So this one will follow like them learning more about the fact that they're humans and there's barbarians, and like he helps her save the other women because they're all still in the ship where she's gone off. So and then he has to go like get his mates and like come and like, save them. There's a certain thing, an organism on the planet that you have to ingest to survive it, to live in the
Okay.
atmosphere. There are women barbarians there too who are mated with barbarians, and there are
Right,
barbarian
right.
kids.
And is there a thing there, like, you've got all these beautiful women barbarians, but you're choosing to have relationships with these humans?
No, because they've resonated with a male already, and there's only like 3 or 4
But
women, but there's like tons of men.
no, like,
Social stigma.
about
No.
it for the... Okay.
No, there isn't. No.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of this, I'll be honest.
I
I'll be honest
really-
with you
Yeah,
too,
I'm not
yeah.
into it.
I'm
I have to
not-
say the barbarians are really nice, and they're very like they will see to your needs basically in every which way that you want.
Rogering.
Rogering. They don't want them to be out hunting or anything because they're worried that they'll get hurt. So they're very much much like, but then the women want to be independent. So
Yeah,
it's
and
learning.
they've flown to space. Like, come on, they can do
Well,
that.
they didn't ask to be flown to space.
Oh,
they were
abducted,
taken.
weren't they?
Oh,
Sorry.
that-
In
They
my
were
mind, they're
abducted.
spaceship
Some kind of,
women.
like,
In the
What,
middle
called
of the night.
astronauts. Yeah, I thought they were Space
I thought it was
Quest.
Space Quest 2000.
Yeah.
No, they were abducted in the middle of the night
So
in their
it's-
pajamas.
So they don't know each other. They're all strangers.
They're all strangers.
For some reason, I imagined a world where space travel was a thing.
No.
Okay. I
It's
don't know.
nowadays.
I
If you
just-
were
I
abducted
imagine they
now.
were going
Nowadays.
to space.
I find that a little bit more interesting then. 'cause it's a
Okay.
bit
Yeah,
more
I do
paranormal.
too.
A bit like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
Yeah.
like aliens.
So they obviously are very tall and muscular. They also have little ridges everywhere, like protective ridges, like around their person. And they also have an extra thing called a spur above their penis.
Above their
I know.
penis.
See, I don't know.
A penis shield.
As gay men, I don't think you'd understand the like
does it
that.
tickle the clits?
Yeah.
I'm just not interested in them.
No, I think as well the main kind of like why people like these ones. I think it's because of how the men treat the women, and especially in this day and age, as we all know, with straight men, how they treat women, the rise of incels.
Literally.
In a lot of relationships, the man just doesn't treat the woman well, basically.
Yeah.
And what it is in a lot of these books, especially in the Barbarians one, is that they're so doting.
They're
And
like,
so
"Let me
lovely.
cater to you."
Yeah, but in a lot of these, it's like that. They want to protect you.
Right.
And I feel like that's not something that a lot of women do get. And even men, to be fair, sometimes as well. Like in relationships, sometimes you don't feel like you. I don't know. That's how I'm just feeling about it. They're very
Yeah, I feel it's
It is
that
a fantasy
fantasy
after
of
all.
yeah.
of the ideal man, but it's not a human man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 for me.
It's number 5.
Yeah.
I feel like they might be worse. I'm gonna say 4 for me.
I know it's like a fantasy book, but it'll be a great element maybe to have the women off the what are they called? The Barbarians.
The barbarian
Okay.
women.
Yeah, to
Be
be a
like,
little bit
what's
like,
wrong with us?
what's wrong with us? Why are these human women
Yeah,
suddenly
who are
your
these?
ideal women? You know
True,
what I mean?
but there's also not enough women of theirs. Us men, and all the women have already resonated with barbarian men. So there are couples.
every single
So
woman.
there's a male loneliness epidemic.
There's a male loneliness episode. Yeah. So our next one is mermen, merpeople.
Oh.
This is Whispers of the Deep by Emma Hamm.
Okay. Oh, I love that artwork on the front.
So humans have been forced to build cities under the water to
I know this
survive.
one.
Oh yeah, I think I said to you to
Yeah.
try and read it, and you're like,
Ash was
no.
crying about it in the car on the way.
Talking about dragons
Such a
before.
lovely book. And she was. So I want to be there. You know, she's always loved mermaids. Ashton,
This is what I get every
Ashton loves
day.
sitting on rocks in the sea and singing Little Mermaid.
So humans have been forced to build a city under the water to survive because the atmosphere or like the elements are quite extreme in the world, so they wouldn't survive. So they've had to
Right.
build underwater.
Under.
So one of the cities in this book is called Beta, and Mira is an engineer, and so she works on like bits around Beta to like anything that's broken, she'll fix it. Very tech savvy. So she is in an abandoned part of the ship one day, and then she encounters a monster who lives below. And this monster is called an undine, which is what they call the mer people in this
what
book.
was it called?
An undine. So they are known as dangerous creatures of the sea. So the humans
So
don't
it's
like
not
them.
like all mermaids. It's
No,
like,
it's not. It's like,
they're
oh
gonna
shit, we're
kill
about to be
you.
killed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is what it is. Yeah. So the main character in this is called Argus, but this is his home. So the water is his home, but now it's overrun and poisoned by the humans.
Of course.
Of course
Don't
it
wear
is.
that.
Of course. But he's from an old ancient civilization that's kind of been like long forgotten, but they do live under still, and there are like fights now and again. They do have like the humans have defenses to stop them from like pulling apart their cities. So Argus has fought his entire life for his people, and he plans to destroy the city of Beta. And he wants to destroy it to protect his people and their peaceful way of life. But then something happens whilst Mira is doing some like tech stuff, like some soldering, I guess. What do you call that? Yeah, soldering.
Pressing the button and
Pressing
Pressing buttons and soldering.
Yeah.
Something happens and he's also like there, but she ends up having to save him. Yeah, I know. So Mira saves him and it creates a bond between the two
Yeah.
of
Why
them.
does she choose to save a monster?
Because she's
that
not
can
like
kill
that.
her?
She's not like that.
No, she thinks they're quite beautiful, and I guess
Yeah.
like she's never had like a run-in with
Yeah.
them. It's not, so it's not a war, but I guess their government have told them that these are bad creatures, like don't let them get near you, like we don't want anything to do with them. But like I can't like just leave him to I can't just leave him to die. I
Yeah.
can't. I feel like when you're in that situation, no matter like how you might feel about someone, you're like, I can't just leave him to die.
Right.
So his first thought, once he's like she saved him and he's okay to like leave, it's like steal her away because of the bond that's created.
It's some kind of magical mermaid bond.
Can he sense her
Arousal.
I think so, yeah, in the
Yeah,
sun,
for
yeah,
sake,
yeah.
of course.
Does steal her away, basically. Luckily, she's got like a whole
She
contraption.
breathes, okay, yeah.
She's made herself a contraption, and luckily she can.
Because she's an engineer.
She's an engineer.
She soldered that together.
She soldered it together.
Yeah. Was she quite willing to go though, or was she very much like it? Is she in the beginning of the book like, I love living things. I love the sea. I love, you know, and she's like, these aren't bad people.
Yeah, is she like
Yes, she's
activist?
like that.
Okay, yeah. Like an activist.
Like an activist,
energy. Okay.
yeah.
When he takes her, like, does he keep her in like a cage or as a prisoner, or is she introduced to his world? Like what?
So no, he takes her to a cave that's underwater, but it's like got air in it. Argus has found like a little droid down on the sea floor, and he brings like the droid to her as like a gift, and like other bits and bobs, that human stuff that he's found. It brings her like food and things. Just she fixes Bite, who's a little robot, and he can create little translation chips that she can implant in herself, so she can learn his language and then vice versa. But he has not heard an Undyne language before, so she has to try and make him talk in his language,
So she
that
collects that.
so that Bite can take it, translate it, and eventually build her a chip.
Okay.
But they give so she can understand him, but he has a human one. She has to get his trust to get close enough to him so that she can put the chip on him. Yeah, so that he can understand her, but then she can't understand him.
Right.
This doesn't sound as bad as I thought it was going to be, to be honest. It sounds quite nice, actually.
He also has two brothers, which we meet as well, because the other books are his brothers and other women. And we do learn more about his city that's underneath, and there's like elders as well. We learn more about some really awful stuff that the humans are doing in like other cities.
I like this. I like this.
Well, I have a question. It's a romance. He's a merman.
Yes, that's what I want to ask. How does that work?
Are they having incestual relations?
So he has two
Two
penises.
Where?
where?
So they're in his scales.
Is there a flap?
There's like a little flap opening. But luckily women have two
Just
holes.
like human-shaped penis. A human-shaped penis.
It's the right shape in sense.
So one goes up the bum hole, one's going in the vagina. Is what they're
Yes.
saying.
Yes.
It looks like Chapel Roan.
Hang on, is that chapel alone?
I might put this in at number 1. I really like that there's a whole world of things going on, and that it could lean on a larger story other than their relationship, and their relationship is just part of a wider world that they live in.
I'm going to put this in at 2. If I could swap my 2 and push that 2 up to a 3.
Okay, so Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nacosta. Violet is a broke human graduate. She applies for a very unconventional job at a milking farm where they extract the essence from minotaurs.
Semen.
So hang on, yes, but like listen, in this world, so we live in Cambric Creek, and there's all walks of life. There's orcs, there's fauns, fairies,
Very fantasy.
Mothmen, very fantasy, right? And there's humans. They all live together, okay?
yeah.
So like the milking farm, for example, like that's used for like medicines and things, or like it's just used for things like
humans need.
things humans need. Or maybe this was, I can't remember. Maybe this was meant for the
Viagra. That might make sense.
yeah. She is a bit embarrassed
Yeah.
about this job, but it pays really freaking well and has tons of benefits. Good time off, like it's all she needs to pay off her debt. She's not bothered.
Great benefit.
Great benefits. While she's at this workplace, there's a regular that comes in. So they are like the clients that come in to earn a bit of extra money. Things of minotaurs.
Sperm bank.
It's like a sperm bank, but
Okay.
they've got like a high sex drive, and obviously they've got, when it's mating season, they have a lot to give. So so rather than like,
They really nice people and they have a lot to give.
so rather than like it might be too much.
Being selfish with it.
Yeah,
Keeping it all to
exactly.
themselves.
But perhaps they can't always having sex like their partners. It might be a bit like too much because in mating season it's just
It's a bit intense mating season.
a bit intense. So it's just nicer. I guess it's just easier for them to release some steam,
Have someone
get
milk
some
it for
money,
you.
Yeah.
and go to the milking farm.
Okay.
They're like kind of behind like a wall and stuff. Like it's not like just in a room. It's very clinical.
What I remember is it's almost like when a mechanic's fixing a car and
Yeah.
they're underneath a platform
Yes.
and they mount the platform with a hole in.
Yes.
And they stick their genitalia
Yes.
through the hole and then they're milked.
Why is this not something they can do themselves?
For like sanitary purposes, because they do put like a thing on them to like milk them.
They do have an option
There is a
to
hand
do
option.
it manually with their hands.
If it's taking too long, they will take the contraption off and they'll use their hands and like massage it with their hands instead, because sometimes
Massage
it's
it with their
quicker.
hands
Because they're also, and then they can like feel the balls and stuff or whatnot. Or
Okay.
there's like different ways you can make it happen quicker.
Yeah.
It's all very professional. Like they're in like nurses' outfits and stuff. Like they've got like masks and hairnets and things. So you very much like don't know. They can't really see you.
Is this a job that if you're like what they call like a milkmaid?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this a job that you tell people is your job, or is it something that you're a bit like?
You would tell them it's your job. You say you just like you'd work at the milking farm.
The milking farm.
But yeah, everyone like knows that it happens. It's not like
Everyone
a
knows
secret
it's a
underground thing.
Yeah.
But because she's a human woman.
Just part of life.
Yeah, and I think because she's like, it's not what she graduated in.
Yeah.
She feels like she shouldn't. There's always that.
So it's like after you go work in retail after being at uni for like 3 years.
How everyone does.
Everyone does.
But there is a regular that ends up coming. That always. Sorry. Literally, there is
Smutty.
there is a regular, and then he starts to kind of like ask her questions. They start to build a bit of a rapport.
So do people chat while this is going on?
Sometimes they do. He recommends her like a coffee shop to go to, and she ends up going there, and he's there, and so they're both there in like normal like outward like attire.
Yeah.
And they start to like kind of build a bit of rapport and stuff. And then she finds that she's like thinking about him quite a lot, and then she finds herself getting a little bit excited when she's having to like
milkmaid him.
And then we learn about like he's just going through a divorce. Like he's a businessman, so he like turns up in like a business suit and stuff. When they're married, they have the ring through their noses, but he's getting his taken off because he's just divorced. Like they were divorced a while ago, but he hasn't had a chance to take it out.
It sounds kind of cute.
Well, I listened to this. I listened to this on the plane, a little bit of it, and I stopped. And it was one of the worst things I've ever listened to in my life. I'm not an author, and I couldn't write a book, and a lot of people who buy books can't write a book. It gave to me less than 50 Shades of Grey in terms of how good the writing was.
Okay.
I really didn't like it. Was very like, I don't know how to
do you
describe
feel
it.
like it was kind of like they had an idea that they wanted to happen and they just kind of like tried to build a story around the milking of it?
In my mind, this was the author's first ever book, and it was self-published, and it only became a little bit popular by word of mouth or the funny title.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. It could be a well-established author, but in my mind, I was like, I don't like. It's just not a good. It's not written well, and that's what I thought when I read 50 Shades of Grey, and I read every single one.
Even if it's not written well, you still like just want to read it.
Still read it.
Yeah. I don't think it is everyone's cup of tea, to be honest, at all.
I know this sounds terrible. I almost think it's a step too far in terms of human-animal interaction.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know
too
what
animal
it is.
for you?
It's too animalistic.
I know what you mean.
For me.
Yeah.
I just think I like the idea of a front cover. I love how it's like traditional romance novel. Was it Mills and Boone? Like that kind of front cover. But I just the rest of it, I'm like, this is too on the nose. Is that what it's called?
Does he need to have more of a human face?
Yeah, I don't know, because
but with horns maybe.
Because that's an animal head on a human, half human body, and she's milking his penis. And I'm just a bit like, it's just one step too far. No judgy to anyone who enjoyed this book. For me, I'm just like, no, that's like,
okay,
yeah,
that's okay.
I'm kind of okay with it. I think because I like this kind of world where like humans and all these fairy tale characters live together. Like it's a kind of film I would watch.
Right.
And the fact that like he's a businessman and wears a suit is the way he's more humanized, I guess, than like the mermaid who was a different creature who was kind of like mysterious to, they don't really know each other's worlds properly, or language, anything like that.
It's already an
Can be different
established
species.
world.
They already live together.
Maybe if you read on and got to know Rourke, because his name's Rourke.
Yeah,
Maybe it would be different. You'd feel different about, because I feel like sometimes I don't visualize him like this. I don't know what it is. I
think that's what it is. He's so much an animal there, and I think with a drawn animal, I can't see any expression in their face. I can't see any emotion in their face, and it's a little bit like. Whereas with that soul one, I don't expect him to have any emotional, because a demon monster thing.
Yeah.
That skull face is fine to me. You know what I mean? It makes sense. Whereas I'm just like, this is I don't know. It's just a bit, Again, I'm not like, oh, it's outrageous. Like, it's fine that people read it. But to me, it's just. Yeah, to me, it's just.
I love it. It was a bit too.
I think it's the name. It's like Milking Farm.
Yeah, I know.
That's what makes it for me, though.
It's a great
kind of weird because it kind of like
that for me cheapened the book. I know it sounds really crazy, but it made it seem gag-like, funny almost in a way. And I think then in my mind it was, everyone's only reading this because of a funny name. And then I started listening to it and I was like, now it sounds terrible. And then I just couldn't get into it.
I kind of appreciate that from a marketing perspective, though.
It made me.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it's a reason why when you suggested, like, you listen to one of these, I listened to that one because I was like, that's hilarious.
There's something kind of cute about it, though, as well.
No, it's not cute.
Imagine this milking farm in, like, this little village where all these creatures live together.
Semen. It's not milk.
And then you realise it's semen. Yeah, it's a bit like,
I know.
I'm going to put this at 1 for now.
Are you going to have it at 1?
Purely because I appreciate the name. I appreciate the concept.
That for me is a 5. I'm going to have to move my 5.
And actually, there's another version of this from his point of view called Blue Ribbon. It's got like a much nicer
See,
name.
that to me, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
This-
I don't understand how this is. This is the worst story. and bearing in mind, I've listened to
I'm
some
just
of
playing
it.
devil's advocate.
This is the worst story out of all of these books. It's
That's
the
why I'm
worst
saying,
concept
though,
out of all of these
all
books.
these other books follow the same relationship premise. They're
Well,
from
not
2
really.
different things. They're
But so are
forced-
these. Human and a thingy.
Oh my god, they're forced into like these relationships where it all builds up to their animal flap opening and a human penis coming out. This is interesting in the sense that like they've done that kind of thing. Then they kind of like awkwardly meet in a cafe, whatever, and then you see their relationship build in a different way. I find that more interesting than,
See, I
oh,
don't.
now I'm trapped, and
She has
now
to,
we're
like-
falling in love, and now we're gonna have sex for the first time, and here's my human penis on my animal butt. Like, I find that a bit more interesting in the sense of how the story goes.
But it's the same story as then, but flipped around. They've taken the end of that story and put it there, and then it's the same story again. He still has a human-ish penis, just the colours were different. There was a pattern. Yeah, there was a pattern, right?
It starts different,
but in this
so how
book,
it's
Yeah.
not going to be
in
the
this-
same.
In this one in particular, you were saying, they don't want to be in a relationship, all this stuff. But there is a version of that in this book where she is at war with herself in this job. Where she's like, I shouldn't be doing this. Did she graduate from high school?
She's
going into high
graduated,
school?
yeah. She's already graduated.
She should be
yeah.
doing something, there's still that I shouldn't be doing this situation. So it is still the same premise.
More the fact that like these other people have been kind of like forced into the situation
So
they've
has
been
she
in,
kind of, because she needs money.
but not in the same way. This is like kidnapping. This is like, oh, wait, and it's all that same kind of. I guess it's the same.
I know
but
what
it's
you
more, do you know what I
mean.
mean? It's more of like a. I guess it feels more like every day. These is like, oh, it's another fantasy land where they're blah, 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 and they've
But
been
is that not
kidnapped
why
and
you're
blah, blah,
reading
blah.
it, to be like super fantasy? Because again, and maybe that's why again, because all these
But
places.
that's why they have human penises. Is to make
But
it more...
I'm saying.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Whereas this is like, girl needs money. She's going to
goes
milk
to a
milking
cow.
farm. Right,
Yeah.
and she's kind of at odds with why should she be doing this? Is this
Yeah.
sex work? Is this below her?
It's very Sex and the City.
Oh! This is careful, this one special edition. So this is a soul to take. I know we've got a soul to keep.
Oh, I was like,
I know. It's a soul. This was my first like demony like properly smutty book
Demon
ever. I would
Dick.
say Demon Dick. Like when you was like Demon Dick. This was the one I was
this is the
reading.
one. Oh.
Well, I have it in a different version, like the one I was reading. Like, but this is a nicer version.
It's a
So
really nice book.
I know. So this is by Harley LaRue. Okay, so set in a small town where a cult is creating chaos and they're trying to summon a demon, summon a god. But obviously it's going to destroy the world as they know it. But the cult don't really realize that. They're so fanatical, they don't realize it. And they have like people that they try and sacrifice, and they summon demons to kind of help them grab these girls to sacrifice. So our main protagonist in this, Ray, she accidentally gets herself involved with Leon, who is a demon. She accidentally like comes across his like grimoire, you know, the thing that you use to summon a demon.
Yeah.
So he's very powerful, he's very sexy, and he's a bit unhinged as well. Depending on who's got his grimoire is who he has to like obey, but like he wants to protect her and like keep her from this cult. But obviously he's always summoned around like to people. Then she loses his grimoire, someone else has it, and like he gets summoned back to someone else, but like he loves her, but he won't love them, but he has to do their bidding kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's hard. So basically his soul is kind of bonded to Ray at this point. She's like a goth girl. She's really cute. So there's the camera. I'll hold up to the camera first.
Is that him?
That's him. He's like really tattooed. Not sure what he's doing to her there.
Wait, so what is he?
He's a demon, so he does he puts on like the look of like a human. So he does have like different eyes, and he can like obviously travel to like hell and stuff. He has like magic abilities. He's very fast. That's why I wasn't sure if like a demon counts as a monster, because he's not like, doesn't look too different.
I feel like it does.
Like if he can shapeshift, then yeah, right?
So there's a lot of murder in this. There's forbidden pining, there's dark magic, and there's BDSM.
Bondage, discipline, dominance and submission, sadism and masochism.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at this. And if I saw this before I read this book, this will ruin the story for
Yeah.
me. He's wearing sweats,
like a
comfies,
t-shirt.
and he's got his hand on the cat.
And why are they just in a house that's warmly lit?
If I saw that,
He's
I'd be
keeping
like,
her there to protect her.
What, in a perfectly comfortable house?
with fairy
This
lights.
needs to be like a gothic.
No, that is her house. Like,
that's her house.
I want them to be in a crypt and
Yeah.
I know. So there are other books that go on because there's one about a witch and another demon, and she lives in like a little witchy haunted like mansion, like in the middle of the woods. And that's really cute.
I don't like this.
No, why are we
the-
so against it? I bet it's like a really classic book as well. We're like,
Yeah,
this is
I think
shit.
to me the premise is a little bit boring. Maybe it's because we've heard very similar ones.
Yeah.
it's
The
like, it's a
whole
classic
I
story.
summoned a
isn't it?
demon, and a demon's a bit of an asshole, but also quite nice. But is
Yeah.
only nice to me, and it's,
Yeah.
it's a bit like okay. That's the same thing with like every romance. What's it called, paranormal-ish. It's the same with like Twilight.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so there's a girl and she's whatever, and then she doesn't know who he is, and then here's a thing, he's a little bit rude, but also not, and then, but he really likes her, but he shouldn't because that's not what they do. It's like that, okay.
It's the same shit
Yeah.
over and over.
I know what you mean.
Do you know what would make this different? Is if she worked in a milking farm.
She milked cats.
She goes
milked
to
him first. Yeah, she
she's
milked
a
cats.
university student, like
University
she's studying.
student.
Right
Yeah.
now. I would say that's probably one of my favourites. But then I think
Yeah.
after I've left it till last, and I think after I've told you all the other storylines of all the other
sounds a bit
ones,
It sounds a bit
it
bland.
now sounds a bit bland.
Yeah. And is he described in the book as blonde?
I think so. Yeah.
I just don't believe a demon has blonde hair.
I know. But there's
Unless it's
others.
like icy blonde. He's got
Right.
like...
He's got like yellowy blonde hair. and I just
Yeah.
don't believe it.
This sounds a little bit
Shuffle.
less creative, I guess, compared
Yeah,
to the others. It's
yeah.
probably better written than the
Yes.
others.
It is really
but-
well written. Yeah.
But even if it had a few highlights, then
Chunky
highlights.
chunky, a few packets,
Chunky highlights. Yeah.
So number 1 is going to be that mermaid one for me.
Okay.
Number 2 is going to be the one that was like Beauty and the Beast, the first one you showed us.
The Blood
Soul to
Movies,
Keep.
Soul to Keep.
Number 3 is going to be the those space alien-y ones.
Planet Barbarians.
That was it. Number 4 will be the one you just said, and then my number 5 would be Milking Farm.
Soul to Keep.
Yeah.
And Milky Farm
Milky
is
Farm,
your
my 5.
Your 5.
Yeah.
People should read them in that order.
I mean, people shouldn't read number 5 at all.
I think people should read number
You know
5.
what? Get the audiobook and listen. Have wine.
No, don't do the
evenings
audiobook.
And listen amongst friends.
Don't do the audiobook.
So you can all have a laugh.
Don't do the audiobook if you're the English accent.
Yeah.
I can't do it. James?
I think my first was going to be the mermaid one, actually, surprising as well. So, as I said, I hate water. But that
Yeah.
sounds like it sounds like a good
Hates
story.
water.
I hate water. I won't drink it. Second is going to be
Don't do it.
Midnight Maiding Milking
Don't
Farm,
do
what
it.
it's called. I think it's because it sounds like, I know it sounds stupid, but like a believable love story.
Yeah, I know.
It's
a bit
something
more
that feels my
normal.
everyday.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's probably going to be the demon one, the one we
First one.
Soul to Keep, and then the fourth one is going to be the space one, and then the fifth one will be the one we just spoke about, the last one, Soul to Take.
Okay.
Yeah. I think do the serious book first.
Yeah.
Have a bit of morning. What's it called?
Morning Glory, Milking
Milky
Farm.
Milky Farm,
Milky Farm.
and then go from there.
They do, in America, they have a convention called Monster Eroticon. And it's all like these authors and more, and they sell like merch from like their books their books. And I really want to go. So,
Yeah, I mean, no offense to the person who wrote that. It's just
no.
not for me. As I'm sure they can understand
Yeah.
writing such a specific type
Yeah.
of content.
Book,
Story,
story,
literature.
Yeah, that one is just a little bit too. Here's some animal porn.
Yeah.
Wait,
in the
what
comments.
was
Wait.
your rating?
Oh, well, I'm kind of biased because I really like Harley Rue, but I think because I like a lot of her other work. I follow Ray, but there is another woman who's like a friend of hers, or like, well, not really a friend, like a bit of an enemy. But then the next book it's her and another demon, and then the book after that it's one of the cult members have like a daughter, and it follows her who's like the witch. And another demon, because they're all trying to get to the same goal. So all 3 books are happening with the same event from different perspectives. So like when one of them maybe like runs into like a house and someone's down on the floor and they just like then run out. But then another book might have been the couple that killed that person on the floor. So they all like intertwine. So I like all 3 of them. I think they were my first like monstery ones, but I like her characters. And I've also started reading some other stuff of hers. But I would say that was my number 1. I would say A Soul to Keep is my number 2 because that was really cute. And I want to read more of these. I want to see what the other Duskwalkers are like.
Yeah.
And then I would say probably maybe Whispers of the Deep.
Mm-hmm.
And then Morning Glory, Milking Farm, and then Ice Planet Barbarians. But yeah, that's what the order I would recommend it.
Nice.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
If there's any other ratings,
Rankings.
ratings. listings, let us know. Is there anything else that you want to see us talk about?
Go checking out and checking out. Go milk yourselves. No.
I'll leave Robert and James's handles here. Check them out.
Check us out.
Check it out in the description box below. And I will see you next week. Bye.